What is carbon absorption? The capture and storage of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere is carbon absorption or sequestration. Geologic and biologic absorption are two major types of CO2 sequestration. Thanks for joining Dynamic Earth Learning. Our content covers interesting earth science, conservation, and sustainability topics. Visit our website dynamicearthlearning.com for teacher resources, videos, and e-learning courses. The carbon cycle definition. The carbon cycle shows how CO2 moves between several storage points on Earth. Carbon balance and a stable climate are possible due to this cycle. The amount of carbon in our atmosphere remains constant largely because of this cycle. Carbon atoms keep traveling from the atmosphere and back to the Earth in cycles. Dangers of carbon dioxide. CO2 is harmful to human health. Major effects of CO2 include asphyxia, breathing difficulty, convulsions, excess sweating, headaches, loss of concentration, high blood pressure, inflammation, uneasiness, coma. What is carbon banking? A carbon bank is an institution that deals with sequestrated carbon like regular banks treat capital. These banks support companies who want to reduce the release of harmful gases into the atmosphere. Forest owners are major beneficiaries of carbon banking and can access funding from these institutions. Where can carbon be stored? Carbon stores in rock formations and sediments. Other places where carbon stores include living organisms, oceans, and our atmosphere. Carbon stores in sinks, which fast-track carbon cycles. Carbon in the soil. Soil carbon is present in organic and inorganic forms. These types of carbon form during photosynthesis and is passed to animals as plant tissue. Dead plants also return carbon to the soil when they decompose. Types of carbon in the soil include decaying plants, soil microbes and organisms, sugars, proteins, carbohydrates, resins and organic acids, lignins and starches, waxes, calcium carbonate. What is a carbon sink? A carbon sink is something that releases less carbon into our atmosphere than it absorbs. Examples of carbon sinks include plants, soil, and the ocean. In contrast, carbon sources absorb less carbon into the atmosphere than it releases. Volcanic eruptions and burning fossil fuels are examples of carbon sources. Rocks are not considered as a carbon sink as they no longer take in more carbon. Glaciers and global warming. Ice glaciers reserve water and stay frozen, even in summer. However, the Earth's glaciers are under serious threat from global warming. Heat from the atmosphere causes glaciers to melt. Recently, the heating of our atmosphere has increased because of global warming. The global warming solution. Solving global warming is a collective task. The world can solve global warming by reducing CO2 emissions. Major solutions to global warming include saving energy at home. Much energy at home comes from coal, gas, and oil sources. Use lesser energy for cooling and heating. Use LED lights and energy-saving appliances. Do laundry with tap water and hang clothes to dry instead of using cloth dryers. Eating more vegetables. Eat less meat and dairy to reduce the impact of your feeding on our environment. Consume more fruits, grains, nuts/seeds, whole grains, and legumes. Produce plant-based foods to reduce the release of harmful gases. Making plant-based foods also helps save more energy. Food conservation. Cook your meals in sizable portions to avoid waste. Also, wasted food forms methane, a harmful gas to our environment. Compost leftovers whenever you have to, but store foods for later if possible. Using electric vehicles. Electric vehicles are becoming cheaper and don't rely on fossil fuels to work. Using electric cars reduce the use of fossil fuels, unlike diesel or petrol vehicles. Increased reuse of items. Consider buying fewer electronics, clothing, and other items. Producing these items release harmful gases into the atmosphere at several stages. Buy second-hand items if you can. Repair faulty items where possible, and always recycle. Switching energy sources at home. Request energy from wind or solar sources from your utility company. Install solar panels on your property to reduce the dependence on oil, gas, or coal energy. Changes in transport choices. Road transport contributes to the release of harmful gases. Consider taking a walk to reduce your dependence on gas-powered vehicles. Also, riding a bike is another way to reduce carbon emissions from gas vehicles. Whenever you can't use a bike or walk, carpool, or take public transport, air travel releases many harmful gases into the atmosphere. Take fewer flights or use the train if you can. Thanks for joining us. Consider following Dynamic Earth Learning for more earth science, conservation, and sustainability topics. And visit our website dynamicearthlearning.com for teacher resources, videos, and environmental e-learning courses.